Hey, hello, fellow movie, sci-fi lovers, and definitely my comic book lovers. Today, on my little humble YouTube channel, I'm going to be talking about two entities that I definitely know of. One exists in the comic book universe, and one exists in the sci-fi universe. In this case, the comic book company is Marvel Comics. Now, he may exist, something like him may exist in the other comic books companies, but as far as I know, the first one occurred in Marvel Comics of its type. And the second one, entity, is more, it's sci-fi, so you can say it's close to real life because we can actually see it. Comic books are just drawn. This one is in a sci-fi arena that was aired on television. Like I said, the first one came from Marvel Comics, a world-eating entity, and the second world-eating entity come from Star Trek: The Next Generation. In Marvel Comics, the World Eater is known as Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds. He's even called the Devourer of Worlds. In the sci-fi universe, the Star Trek universe, it's just called the Crystalline entity. It's not given no glorious titles or respect like Galactus is. But they do share one thing in common. They do share at least one thing they share in common. They both are greatly feared. Galactus in the comic books is terrified. When he comes to a planet, everyone leaves. Whether it's to leave, you gotta be a spacefaring planet. So whether it's any spacefaring planet, do not try to go up against Galactus. No one try to fight him. In the Star Trek universe, for the most part, no one can defeat the Crystalline entity. But here is a catch with both of them, with Galactus and the Crystalline entity. They both are mortal. So I had that edition in the Fantastic Four when Galactus was near death's door. I think he was so depleted of energy, he shrunk to 10 feet tall. And realistically, he's the size, if he was real, I think he's the size of a large skyscraper. He's that tall. That's his normal height, the sky of a skyscraper. He's almost like God. If he was real, I think he would be the size of Godzilla, or maybe a little bit bigger. In that one edition, where he faced the Grim Reaper, he shrank to 10 feet tall. And I got that edition. I have it. I got it. I forgot the exact number in the Fantastic Four, but I got that edition where he was at death's door. And with the Crystalline entity. Not only was it at death's door, death came to take the Crystalline entity. So in Star Trek, he wasn't playing no games. They discovered how to subdue the Crystalline entity, like Marvel Comics. They didn't figure out how to subdue Galactus. With the Crystalline entity, they figured out how to subdue it by some harmonic frequency. Remember, they got to the level that the Crystalline entity was vibrating on, and they took it up the notch, and the Crystalline entity, was space dust, basically. Alright, so I said they both are mortal, they both are feared, and another commonality between Galactus and the Crystalline entity, especially in the beginning of the Fantastic Four, the early eras, as time went on, it showed him changing. In the beginning, he was just like the Crystalline entity. He wiped out organic life off the planet. That's why Galactus came to a planet. He said it was a life nurturing planet. Galactus can only feed off, he can only survive off life sustaining planet. So he can't go to the moon, as far as I know, because there's no life there. He can't go to Jupiter, as far as I know, no life there. He can't go to Mars, because as far as I know, there's no life on Mars, as far as we know. So he needs a life-sustaining planet with organisms, with higher class organisms like mammals on it. That's what Galactus needs. The crystalline entity is identical. It needs a life-sustaining orb that can maintain at least mammal-like. Because you know in Star Trek there's so many different species of humanoids. I can't call them human or mammals, because you know some of the aliens are reptilian, some of them are ghoul, some of them like a little puffball. I forgot them things. The tribbles, whatever they call it, the tribbles from the original Star Trek. So all life in the Star Trek universe is not human life, but they're mostly carbon based. They are. So wait, yeah, I better say that. Galactus like to destroy carbon-based planets, as far as I know, because you know since it's a comic book, they're only going to show life from the human perspective. And the organic entity, as far as I know, it destroys worlds that's carbon-based, but they probably can destroy worlds, any type of world where life is. That's what you probably can do. So, Galactus and the interline entities, for the most part, they need planets with basically an advanced form of life, or like mammals, like rodents, squirrels, lions. They need stuff like that. That's their main planet, where it's definitely an advanced form of life, not just bugs and insects and bacteria. It seems like they thrive on those planets where it's rich in a higher life form. They love that. And Galactus in the early days, when he destroyed the planet, he just took the life out the planet. The planet was still there. I had them comic books when they went to other worlds. The planet was still there, but the seed in it that could produce life where plants can grow, yeah, they basically destroyed plant life, really. And after this, when you destroy the plant life, other life quickly follows. And the organic entity, the crystalline entity, it also do the same thing. When it comes to a planet, it don't destroy the world. The world is still there. It just destroys the life, the life essence of the planet. The planet is still there with the crystalline entity. It was like when I read the comic in the beginning, it was still there with Galactus and etc. But they do cause a minor disturbance, both Galactus and the crystalline entity. Because I did see with Galactus, sometimes when you come to a planet, with Galactus, it showed him go into the center of the planet. I saw that it has books where he just don't take the life off the planet from space. No, Galactus, he go into the center of the world and rip it and just take it from there. The crystalline entity, for the most part, has to be in orbit around the planet, as far as we know. It's an orbit around the planet, and it shoots some type of rays. That's like a big broom, big vacuum. It's like a big gigantic vacuum cleaner, and it just sweep up life, organic matter that way. And so it took the organic matter that way. So, and I've seen that in Star Trek. A person running, an animal running, that vacuum cleaner that the crystalline entity shoots out, when it hit that person or that animal or that plant, is gone. Now, since comic books are just comic books, they're not representation of 3D things, we can't see how Galactus' power really works. For all we know, he may be just like that crystalline entity. A ray come out, something come out, and he just wipe the thing, just vanish. He just reduces the atom and just take it, eat it all up. The comic books only can go so far, so they don't show Galactus' power and his glory. So he and the crystalline entity, in essence, they just wipe everything off that planet. Now, It's one thing that's disturbing, especially the crystalline entity. You probably saw the episode of Star Trek where the crystalline entity wiped off all the life on the planet. It looked like the Borg was there after me. Now, if the crystalline entity just taking life of the planets, shouldn't we still see the buildings there? The buildings still should be there. Because those people live in the 25th century. And all those worlds that I've seen on Enterprise, they star-faring societies. So, since they're a star-faring society, don't they have some type of large structure where we can see? Every episode we see of Star Trek, we do see buildings, some type of building there. But when a crystalline entity wiped off life off the planet, everything was gone. The buildings, everything was reduced to like primordial rock. That probably was a fault of, the special effects people. They probably wasn't thinking that far. We need to at least show some buildings, because back when, when Star Trek, The Next Generation came on, technology wasn't like what it is now. For a lot of 3D stuff. I think they did a lot of stuff by hand back then. But as I was saying, those are some of the similarities. They have very few. Well, one thing too about the crystalline entity in Galactus. Here's the major thing. Galactus, now I've read in the comic books, when any entity looks at Galactus, he sees Galactus from his or her viewpoint. When a Skrull sees Galactus, he sees Galactus. That person sees Galactus as a gigantic Skrull. When a human sees Galactus, they see it as a giant human. And see, this is where they run at in Marvel Comics. See, they always make Galactus look white. They always look like a white man. But I know why, people. I know why. Because that's what the Spirit of God said to me. The people who design or make something, they're going to always make it look like them. Because, for instance, since I'm a person who has brown skin, if I saw Galactus, he probably would look like something that I'm used to. If an Asian saw Galactus, Galactus would probably look Asian. But since it's a comic book and it's made by Stan Lee, and we know how Stan Lee look, he's gonna make Galactus look the way he wants Galactus to look. But the crystalline, and here's the difference too, but the crystalline entity, its appearance, it don't change. It looks like crystal. Galactus can look however he needs to look for the viewer. So Galactus almost work on like a psychic level. Yeah, a psychic level. The crystalline entity, from far as I know, don't work like that. When you see I don't care which species you come from, whether you're a Klingon, whether you're a Klingon, a Vulcan, or whatever them other races on Star Trek, you would just see it looking like a gigantic crystal thing in the sky. They don't hide its look from you. And that's it. So that's one similarity, that's one difference that I know of. Galactus looked the way he fits the way you want him to look. He fits how you look. The crystalline entity don't care about how it looks. It's gonna like a giant crystal floating in the sky. But the people in the Star Trek universe, at first they thought the crystalline entity was like a primordial creature, like a dog, a squirrel, a bat. They thought it just went by instinct. But they discovered that the crystalline entity, like Galactus, is a higher life form. The crystalline entity, in the last episode of Star Trek where it appeared, it is able to communicate with other life forms. So it is intelligent. Here's another difference between Galactus and maybe the crystalline entity. For all we know, Galactus is one. And whatever universe he's in, there's always going to be just one Galactus. one only. But for the crystalline entity, we don't know. We don't know about them. Do they self-replicate? Are there more of them? But here's a little clue. Since we don't see them that much, in, it's the Star Trek universe. Since we don't see them that much in the Star Trek universe, they probably incredibly old. They probably take a long time to mature, and they probably take eons to reproduce. So there's not like a lot of crystalline entities in the Star Trek universe from what we can see. So they may be extremely long-lived, and they are probably slow to reproduce. It'll probably take millions and upon millions of years for another crystalline entity to reproduce or split into another crystalline entity. So that's my little take, people, about there are two Galactus-like individuals, or no, I shouldn't even say Galactus. They are two, from far as I can, two planet eating, because they really eat the planet. There are two planet eating entities that I know of, that I know of. It started with Marvel Comics. I don't think there was no other Galactus, no planet eater before Galactus. And in the sci-fi universe, I don't think there was no other thing like a crystalline entity until Star Trek: The Next Generation showed it. So, only two. And they have many similarities. And another thing too, since the crystalline entity and Galactus feed off planets, they easily destroy starships. Because I remember an episode in Star Trek: The Next Generation. The crystalline, this is one difference between the crystalline entity and Galactus. Galactus needs to go to those planets. He needs to go to the planets. He definitely feed off the planets. The crystalline entity, it loved the planets because it got so much stuff there. But it showed me that one episode of Star Trek, the crystalline entity, it can take anything that's organic, anything, anywhere. It destroyed all the people on some type of starship. Everybody was gone. And unlike what I said earlier about how Star Trek showed the crystalline entity destroying the planet but not leaving no buildings. In this case, when the crystalline entity took off all the organics from that ship, the ship was still there. It just was wiped clean. Their fancy equipment couldn't detect nothing. Everything. So when the crystalline entity attacks life, maybe like the Galactus too, it basically take you, sad to say, feed off of you. Because it don't leave nothing. So that's the major difference between the crystalline entity and Galactus. Galactus, as far as I know, he needs to go to that world. He feeds off of worlds. Worlds is what he needs. The crystalline entity love worlds because it got so much there. The crystalline entity, it can take anything from us. It can wipe you off of a starship. It can take you off a starship. And it's so, like, Galactus, it got so much cosmic level powers, it can get through any shield too. Because if there was attacking a starship, in the Star Trek universe, all those starships got different levels of shields. Now, it may have been a weaker version of a shield, because we saw with the crystalline entity, I think it did try to attack the Enterprise, but they figured out how to get around it. But it does have the ability, the cosmic ability, to get past shields. So that's my good take, people. I know I ran on and on for over 15 minutes about the similarities of Galactus, the similarities and differences between Marvel Comics, renowned Galactus, and Star Trek: The Next Generation, underappreciated, undervalued crystalline entity. But the main thing about them, before I say goodbye, in conclusion, that Galactus is only one, and a crystalline entity, it may be others of its type, but it may be long to reproduce itself. It may take millions of years to make another one, because we see in the Star Trek universe, we don't see crystalline entities around every corner, so they're extremely rare. Give me your comments about what you think about those two world eaters. Until the next time, sci-fi listeners, comic book listeners, peace.